this is a sneaky one, but we've got the Premium Premier League and BWSL upgrades. I don't get why they've come out today. We've got 2 days to actually do as many as possible. By the looks of it, we get the exchange of 11 players in the Premier League, or obviously the Barclays Women's Super League, and we get 4 rares. So this is pretty much what we got from Team of the Year, minus the normal one. So you normally had the Premier League, BWSL upgrade, and then the Premium upgrade. We've just got the Premium, so it contains 7 common, 4 rares. These are kind of what we wanted on Monday, because normally, at least these are the grindable ones where you can really try and get some Prem players here. Now, we've got to do something with the commons, because obviously the rares, we don't put them anywhere. The commons don't put anywhere. The rares can go back into this and you can do all sorts. So, for instance, something like this, all we'd do is we'd swap these 2 round, and okay, we'll go get rid of the tradable ones. We'll obviously just put them down. So if you're looking to improve your team, make sure you're heading over to lootbar.gg. They are the best and most reliable coin service you can find. Also with the best 24-hour manual customer service that you physically cannot find anywhere else. But before finishing on lootbar.gg, make sure you are using the code JT11, 8% off your first ever transaction, and then 5% off every time after that. Once you've gone through the payment, you'll be able to get your coins within the next 24 hours, absolutely guaranteed. Also with the code, you'll be able to get 5% more coins on every transaction. Make sure you do click the link either in the description or down in the comment section below. Then when it comes to actually utilizing all this fodder, all of the rares would go back into the Premium, but then we've got somewhere to go with the commons, because obviously when it comes to this, it depends on what upgrade, because normally they require 1 rare each. So you've got a couple of options with this. Obviously we need to do daily login, but we've mainly got the 77 plus Premier League and BWSL. That does require at least 3 rares. You've got the 81 player pick that requires 1 rare. Depending on what you want to do with each of them, I would personally go, I would say the 81 player pick for the better shout, but to be fair to them, with what they gave me last time, I'd just be looking at potentially the gold upgrade. For all of the commons that we can't use, at least you're getting 2 rares back that can go back into this. You're only spending the 11 players, so for instance, when it comes to this, we'll just go ahead and put everybody back in, and it can be everybody. Obviously, you want to start off by gutting out all of your Prem, so you don't end up with loads of duplicates, but at least then you get 2 of the players back. So at that point, I think that's going to be the better shout. Whether you'd prefer to do one of the upgrades instead, that is totally down to you, but the most efficient way, I think, has got to be the gold upgrade. Doesn't require any of your rares. You can then focus all of them rares back into that Premium upgrade. So like, for instance, we did just a second ago. We want to put it on onto the favorites, and then we can kind of utilize it that way. So obviously with the rares, we'll go to the newest, because we just know they are all going to go in, and then we can go and put them like that. We then have the Prem, so we'll go from lowest, and we'll just make sure that we're going through and basically gutting out what we can so we don't end up with duplicates, because there is nothing more annoying than having to go each pack and kind of always coming back, and that's where discards happen, because if you've got 1 player duplicate, sometimes it's just quicker just to discard him, especially if you've got a load of these packs saved up. So for instance, if we open up another one, I kind of want to keep going in this one until we get a blue at the very minimum. But if we do get some fodder, I don't know the actual quantity of what is walkouts in this, but if we could get a blue, that would always be outstanding. The best pull, who's that? Lacazette? No, is that Martial? Yikes, I don't even know who else is not in the team of the season, to be honest. But as you can see, we can go ahead and we can go and put all of these back into the gold upgrade. So how do we recycle these? Because what we'll do is we'll kind of recycle quite a few of them, and then we'll kind of go through the method. I'll build a load up, and we'll go until we at least pack a blue. So obviously when it comes to these, they're going to require rares only. That is a little bit harder than most times, and we haven't really seen this since Team of the Year, because everything has always been like the 81 player picks, the 77 upgrade. It's predominantly been like 1, 2 rares, then the rest are common, so it's been very easy to grind. The exchange method is still going to be a good thing in this, because obviously when it comes to the exchange, for instance, if I was to put one in, as I don't think it tells me the price yet, in fact we can't even do that yet. We've got an 89 that I can put in, just purely on the fact that we can go ahead we go. We got an 89. No, we don't. So what we're going to do is just going to go buy a Mappilion because I know she's quite cheap and we can get her relatively quickly because then we can figure out how many rares it actually gives us versus then the commons, because that's the whole point of this, is being able... She is a bit more expensive than I thought. Hold on, his bands are cheaper than this because I swear he's got to be. Yeah, I was going to say, that's always why you have to look sometimes, because literally, like, even if it's just a little bit cheaper, still cheaper. That's the more efficient you are, the better with your coins. So, for instance, with this 51 player pack, we will have to put the gold the gold commons into that upgrade, just because otherwise it will trigger. I would just recommend putting in your favorites as well, because you do not want to come all the way back here every single time to grind this out. So that is all done then. So the first things first with this, the way I would kind of utilize this upgrade once we've seen the 51 pack, lovely, is obviously then gutting out your clubs. So you get 14 rares and then you get 51 items. So the rest can be into the commons, meaning every 51 player pack you might be able to just squeeze 2 in. If obviously opening it, you put the rares back in and you could just keep recycling like that. Still gives you a very good shot at something, and if you do manage to get a walkout or anything, putting it back into the exchange is going to be the best thing there. So what I would do first is gut out your club completely, especially of Prem, BWSL players, and then obviously common and rares. So all of them for me would go into the upgrade of the gold. If then you wanted to choose the 81 player pick or the 77 plus, you can obviously do that. I'm probably going to go with the gold upgrade for the chance of other team of the seasons as well. But then every rare will be going into the premium. So once you've done all of the Prem, you can kind of see where you're sitting at with these upgrades, and then you can kind of plan your next move. It would then be opening up the Prem ones, because I wouldn't put everything in your club straight away, because you've got to recycle as well. And sometimes you might not get some players back that you need to finish off that SBC. You don't want to be spending coins on it. So I would possibly keep a lot of the players, just use your Prem to start with and kind of go from there and see how many you can get, because you'd probably be shocked with how many Prem players you actually do have. From this, obviously, then we can go and look at other SBCs as well. So, for instance, if we wanted to do the 85 player picks, if we wanted to do the 84 times 7, any of the fodder can be utilized in that as well to get even more players, which then could accompany going into the exchange as well. For instance, with the 84 times 7, if you've obviously already got the team of the weeks, then you could utilize what players you've got already. So for instance, with mine, I've got very kind of lower on team of the weeks now, but very high rated, meaning I could probably utilize the couple that we managed to just get. I know it was Hudson Odoi at 75, but then we can obviously use Højbjerg, and then I can go into my Prem Golds and kind of just see where we're at with that. We're looking for what, an 83 rated squad. So I just put a lot of the 82s in. I'm going to end up getting these back at some point anyway. So once we've done all that, I think that could be enough, nearly enough. Can we go with an 83 then, or an 84? 84 is not going to be enough, and then the 83. So then if we've got that from all of the Prem upgrades that we've been doing, then obviously we can then go and recycle all of that back into more of the exchange. And it's just a constant cycle of doing the exchange, doing your daily stuff as well. The golds are going to come in handy here, even if it's not a lot of rares. It's a lot of commons to go back into gold upgrades, like I said, the ones that do require the commons at the minimum, because then obviously we can keep grinding them through and just bringing them back into the premium. It is a very easy concept to get along with, and especially with a lot of the 89s and 90s being really cheap, it makes it quite affordable, and you could still get something out of this 51 pack. We do manage to get a blue from the 84 times 7. It's going to be a bit of Nkunku. Does that mean it's a double? Ooh, we've got a double team of the season. Who's going to be behind him? We've already got an Nkunku, so he could go into the exchange or a player SBC. And we get a Philly Foden. Let's go. He is incredible as well. Okay, that makes it a lot better. Especially yesterday when we got nobody. That is an amazing player to get. Very, very happy with him. He was unbelievable as well. So when we can kind of do with these, that's literally just the icing on the cake of it. And that's the whole point of this grind. It's not going to be every day that you get Summit. I don't think I got a team of the season at all yesterday. So that does make up for it a little bit. But what we could do with Enkunku, we could just go straight back into the exchange with him if you wanted. Or if there is another challenge SBC, for instance, if I wanted to do the 85 pick, because obviously that's the highest rated upgrade that I want to do. Everything else is 83 and requires one player. I can just whack him back in there. It's not like I'm not going to get probably him, to be honest, or a Watkins again. They're going to be very common in this, so it's not necessarily the worst thing to do. The main thing really is to just get rid of as many Prem players as possible when doing this, and it will be the same as we go around for the Bundesliga and the La Liga, because obviously they will take all of your fodder up. So 81s all the way in. Probably not the most efficient, but you never know. We will keep it grinding with that. Then we're going to try and get somebody from this 85 player pick, which is going to be an 88, a 90 Kane, which we'll absolutely take. Again, he can go into the exchange, an extra 51 players, which is always perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build a couple of them premium upgrades. Another quick tip that you can do for this, because obviously with the with the squad builder on the console, you can't actually you can't change the rarity to rare, so you have to put in all gold. So if you've got commons, then unfortunately it will just put your commons in as well. Whereas on the web app, you can select rare, so it makes it build a hell of a lot faster. So I'm going to just do that, and then we'll see if we can get another team of the season out of these premium upgrades. We've managed to get about 10 of them. Let's see how long it takes to get a blue, because I'm hoping it's within these, to be honest. I don't know what the weight's going to be like. We have managed to put in a lot of the commons into double upgrades and just hopefully not get a duplicate in the first 2. But I'm hoping to get a blue in the first 5 at the minimum. Oh, so I was going to say, I was like, hold on a second. Is there a Ukrainian? Is there a Hungarian player in the Prem? All I think about is Orban or Galaski. So if we're going to go into the 3rd or 4th, I'm hoping the weight's relatively good. There is quite a few team of the season that you can get. I'm just going to discard these few. Obviously, don't follow my method on this. You definitely want to be putting them back in, as it will take a long time. Once you've got rid of all of your rares and all of your commons, it then becomes the grind of getting stuff, and you've got to open the 51 packs. It's definitely not the quickest grind once you get to the end, but obviously to start with, it's not a bad grind if you want to kind of keep going forward with it. And we've got a few days of it. At least they didn't do like a few years ago where we only had I think it was 24 hours to get it done, which was just nuts in itself. So I'm kind of hoping we manage to get something soon, because normally with these, it's a very hit and miss. Sometimes you can open up quite a few and maybe you don't get anything, but you should be able to get at least one team of the season, normally within 10 to 15, I'd say, and then it's kind of a bit of an open range. Once you start opening them, you just can't stop until you get one, basically. And by the looks of it, we've not got one in the first set, so unfortunately, that is it. But I must admit, having Phil Foden, I can't really complain too much. I think that is kind of all of my luck dried up for the first few. I think that's all of them. So let's see if we get any in the 2 rare gold player packs. I know we're going to get quite a lot of duplicates here, as I've got all my rares still. I've mainly just looked at Prem, so it is predominantly just my Prem that I've utilised there. Whereas obviously, once you've gone past all of your Prem, you can then start using your normal rares as well. It's not like you have to just use Prem. It's just a very easy starting point, because when you want to then recycle, you can recycle all your commons back in, then you can recycle all of the Prem players that you've got back in, and mix in a few of the normal cards as you get to the end, because it's not like you're going to have a perfect time every single time. Like, you're not going to get 11 Prem rares and then that's it. You've got to go on to the next one. So by the looks of it, it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. So I'm very happy with Foden and Enkunku. Obviously, put down below your weight of these. Have you opened 10? Did you get one in the first 1, first 15, 20? Are you still opening them? Let me know down below. I'd always be interested to know, as the 81 player picks yesterday were horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. We'll finish off on the 51 player pack. See if we can get anything out of this that at least can go back into stuff. It's not going to be a blue, which sometimes can happen. When I get Mahrez, taking 86. Could go back into the exchange if you really wanted to. I think it's, 9 players or 7 players. But at the very minimum, you take the walkouts and everything else can be grinded back through. Let me know if this gives any help, and make sure you subscribe if it does, and check the video on screen. Peace.